Hello, House of Massive Reviews here for today's review of Karate Kid Legends. And, well, let's just get stuck into it. I'll start off with my summary of the other film, of the previous films in the franchise, and I guess a little bit of Cobra Kai. The first film, I love it. It's the classic 80s sports movie, and, you know, it, well, defined a lot. It's what everyone considers the greatest, one of the greatest sports movies. Yeah, I love it all. I love the characters, and everything. Yeah. The second film, part two. I know it's split a lot. There are people who really think it's better than the first film, and a lot of people think it isn't. I think it is better. I mainly because, and I remember watching it a lot because in high school because we had to do an uh um an an exam actually where we had to from by watching the movie and answering questions on it because I was studying Japanese in high school, and yeah, I think I did. I remember I did pretty well with that because I actually had the DVD for part two, so and I still do. I have the first three films on DVD, and well, pretty evident because I did it before the flick recently for the first film, but yeah, I remember doing really well, and I enjoy the second film more. The third film is a rehash, but it's not good. It's not perfect, but I don't know. It's got some good things in it when they're not ripping off the first movie. The fourth film, The Next Karate Kid, I only just recently saw, and yeah, it's not really that good. Definitely the worst of the films. It could have been interesting, but Hilary Swank. I can see why people would have liked her to appear in the Cobra Kai series, but yeah, she's a brat, and even the plot was just stupid. Yeah, of the rival teacher and everything. The remake in 2009 with Jackie Chan and Jaden Smith was good. I was really impressed with it, and like a lot of people, I thought it was better than was leading, what everyone thought it would be. The Cobra Kai series, I have seen a fair bit of it, and I'm impressed with how well they've continued on with all the characters from the movies. But I don't know, the show isn't really for me. But I see why it's got a massive fan base, and even I've got to admit that. But going to this was the for a while. I mean, because there is something else that we'll see later this month in movie theaters. But for a while, this was the only film that's going to be released in June that I was really interested in. Uh, Main, a lot of the others that were coming out, well, the big name releases, it didn't really do a thing for me. Whether they be, remakes of films I don't think need to be remade, or uh, ideas that just remind, or films that remind you of things you don't like from that, well, other films from that film company you don't like, aka Leo. Um, but going into, but I was interested in this, and after I watched those, was thinking it's good, it's good, just short, and yeah, that's probably the biggest problem with this film is that it's only an hour 20, I think, and this is probably on par with the Marvels as the shortest film I've seen in theaters since we've entered the 2020 decade, or maybe even, I don't know, after going from 2022 onwards when I could go to cinemas freely after everything with the pandemic. But yeah, boy, does this film really feel the as prop really feels like it's short and it's missing a lot of key things in it, and is one of the clear problems of this. But we'll get to that. I don't really think I need to go over the story because it's basically a rehash of the first, third, and remake. With a teenage boy, moving um to an unknown city, in this case Beijing to New York, to switch up from the remake. Um, he's a bit of an outcast in his new surroundings, but makes friends with a teenage girl who he has a bit of the hots for and has a crush on her, and they become friendly. But continuously gets beaten up by her ex-boyfriend who studies martial arts, and eventually he signs up to enter a martial arts tournament. Um, and eventually fights his way to the top, including beating the ex-boyfriend. But there are differences in this. This time the kid in question, the boy in question, actually does know martial arts. He knows kung fu, but the ex-boyfriend knows karate, so a bit different. And actually, it started things off. Originally, the boy's actually training his crush's father because the father's actually an ex-fighter and is trying to get back into the ring in order to make money to save his business. And yeah, he actually turned, and after seeing how well the kid knows kung fu, he asks him to train him. And yeah, that's been different. That was okay. I was impressed. They were trying to do something different um with that. And to be fair, but yeah, that leads to even but even with that, even with those few changes, you're still going to get the same plot threads you get with this. Like, one of these characters is going to have a tragic backstory, and we find it is actually the boy this time. Though, for a while, though to be fair, I don't think it's glossed on too far and too much, even though, and it sounds like at first it doesn't look like it's actually troubling him too much, just because he's in conflict with his mother, but or aunt. I don't know. I know Jackie Chan's Mr. Han is his uncle, but whatever. But what I'm saying is but then when he actually, but when say something goes wrong with his girlfriend's father's fight, that's when it comes into play. I'm like, uh, yeah. I mean, I should mention that there are, for what it is, the film is okay enough despite the retreads, and the things you expect that you want to see be good, are good. I mean, I like the action scenes a lot in this, the fight scenes, I should say, and well, the scenes with Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio, brilliant. I gotta admit, they're the highlights of the movie. Those scenes and their banter off each other and everything. Because it's still Daniel LaRusso, it's still Mr. Han, and having these two interact and how we find out Mr. Han actually knew Mr. Miyagi in the past. It's actually kind of nice, and as I said, the and how they're training the young boy is really good. Yeah, those scenes are the best. Those scenes are great, and though you don't get that to the final third, and I don't know if how the advertising was stating everything. I don't know. But yeah, those are the good things because there are problems. A lot of it mainly due to the length of the film, because as I said, this is only just over an hour, and part of me is okay with that because I see a lot of 2-hour movies or so I'm kind of okay for shorter lengths every now and then, but when I feel like it's lacking things that need to be in a film more more scenes to flesh out characters. That's how I feel. That's when I do feel a little bit chipped. I mean, I think the short length of the Super Mario Bros. Movie worked. I enjoyed. I didn't really mind it how of the length of it. I thought they kept everything in it. But as I say, with the Marvels, that was a film that was lacking content, and a lot of it came from the short length. And yeah, you can tell this film is missing things. Like as I said, I think the training scenes between with the boy and Machio and Chan uh are so brief. It's like cut through, cut through, cut through. Oh, you're gonna spend some time with the girlfriend. Cut through, cut through, cut through. Show some fights in the tournament. Cut through, learn more, train, do some training. Get to learn on how you're gonna beat the ex boyfriend. Yeah, that was really uh, too quick. Also, the rival teacher. Because at first this film was looking like it was going to be as involve both a ruthless student and a ruthless teacher as the rivals, and I can see they're trying to go with that because while the ex boyfriend is the student, obviously the teacher is actually an old acquaintance of the girlfriend's of the girl's father, and it is hint and it's hinted that he still has some beef with him, which is why he sort of almost he rigs the fight. The father gets into slightly or arranges for his opponent to cheat. Um, it just feels like that storyline's just dropped once we get to the boys' training, and yeah, I didn't really care. I was like, oh come on, give me more. And even at the end, where the boy wins the tournament, which you know is going to happen, just the look at the teacher's eyes towards father, I just think there should be more to it. I'm a bit, uh, yeah. Uh, yeah, and and the other thing, that really that's a bit of a problem for me. Ming Na Wen as the mother. Uh, and this is just I think a bit of a problem for me because with the exception of Mulan, most of the films I've seen Ming Na Wen in, the performances haven't really done anything to me. They just feel so shallow and stiff. Sometimes they can work around. But other times, I don't know, her performances just don't do a thing for me, and I just feel lacking, lacking emotion. She's just so stern and strict and not really changing anything. Um, as I said, I don't really see, and here it's the same. I think maybe it's even worse. Uh, it's, I don't know, it's just the way I feel with her, with, well, with her performances in general, but. Yeah, I did notice it here again. Um, but yeah, well, other than well, Ming Na Wen, uh, the most of the problems come from this is just how short this film is. I, I definitely feel like it's going to be, I think a lot of people's problem with this. And I think at the very least, people need to take their time when thinking about this because you know it could be good the length. It could not. Honestly, at the moment, I'm indifferent. A part of me is okay. I had a short length, but but the critical side of me is like, you needed more time. This needs to be extended. And, you know, I'm gonna have to give this a 4.5 out of 10. It's not, and I feel like that's about as much as I can give it. It's tough. It's really tough, to recommend this. And yeah, I guess it just comes down to personal tastes. If you want to see it, you can. And I'm not going to say you shouldn't, but just keep in mind the length. Yeah. Sorry, I should be going on a bit more about that, but I just can't. Strange. Yeah, but in terms of what's next, you're just going to wait and see. There's a chance I probably will do something with the Nintendo Switch 2, which I am spending a lot of time on. I am with playing Mario Kart World and everything, but maybe there's a chance I might talk about it. Um, in terms of movies, there is one other film I'm going to see in theaters, and there might be a special review in the middle of this as well. Um, but in the meantime, House of Francis Reviews is out, and I shall see you for my next review. Ciao.